Right. This morning we are on the location of the Lirokaan Land Estate owned by member Elizabeth Mohammed. We are here now on an indigenous trek, so we are calling this video clip Indigenous Archaeology, and you will know why in a little while. We are now going up to the area where we will focus attention this morning. We have on our team Elizabeth, the owner of the estate. We have Pat there, and we have Rudolph. So this is the team going on this indigenous archaeology expedition this morning.
Don't miss the cane.
Right. On my left is a patch of sugar cane. So you can see the actual sugar cane stalk there. And this is the cane plant. We have some coconut trees.
This is bourbon cane, a very premium cane that people like to cut up, to peel, to suck. It's called the bourbon.
Bourbon cane. Not sure if viewers can hear the birds in the distance.
Yes.
So this is our trek, our hike.
Passing all the balize,
So all the
which is a
balize
native forest plant.
and a bacando.
Bacano, balize, trees native to the forest.
And in the foreground there is a pumping jack, an old pumping jack, an abandoned pumping jack.
And Elizabeth Mohammed, may I say Elizabeth Mohammed's plantation has the largest known reserves of the balize plant. If you look at it, acres and acres of the balize plant that she preserves. You understand? Very, very important.
Silk cotton, rubber, silk cotton tree, rubber trees,
So we have the silk cotton, the rubber tree,
the
this
bacano.
bacano tree, the carrot
Yeah.
that they
And
used
the
for
carrot-
covering
The
houses
balize
long
provides
ago.
habitat for many, many deer, agouti, lap, tattoo. So it's a habitat for all the animals on her plantation. No hunting.
So we are going in. We are
So we are
tracking
going
in.
into this little grove now.
I like you going to be a international director.
I am. Elizabeth, I tell you. I am.
So we enter in this little grove here. Right.
Now, when you're looking for yam, you're looking in the ground area. You clear if you need to, and usually where the yam is, it will be protruding in a slight mound above the ground. And you say, okay, here look like it have what we call a stool.
Now, one of the things I want to add, if you will look at the yam closely, right, you will notice that on the top you have all these shoots coming out from the tuber. This is a tuber, right? And all these shoots are waiting on the rain to form a branch and a vine, right? Now, at this point in time in the dry season, the vines have all dried up and the plant has stored all its food resources, all its starches, all its protein, all its minerals in the tuber. So what we are going to do now is to take our time and dig around the tuber and show you how large this tuber really is. Now, from looking at the tuber there, I suspect that the tuber may go down to like about 2.5 to 3 feet. Am I correct?
We have Pat there as the expert.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's start the digging and see how far we can progress. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is that this head of yam is in a large composted area. So people who are interested in planting yam, right? You dig a hole, you get a lot of organic compost, and you put down the head of the yam. Now, yam was the indigenous food of the Arawaks and the Caribs, the first peoples.
Now the yam we're digging today is actually one of the extreme original local yams. This is what people call different names, baba ole, cut and throw away, but it is an original yam that was used by the first peoples. There are different types, couscous, bottleneck, all that, but this is the original baba ole, cut and throw away, but it is a very firm yam, cooks well in multiple ways
And stays longer.
and stays very long. You can dig this yam, put it to store, and you just cut off the surface of where it is and you can peel and cook.
And there we have the first tuber.
Alright,
Out.
let's wait. Before we do anything,
Hold it
Pat,
over.
could you take your gill pin and just cut off the top for me, and let me see the inside of the yam, and I'll determine whether it's cut it a little lower. Right, thanks. Well, it's not cut and throw, it's white yam. It's white yam. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
The cut and throw has a slightly more reddish tinge.
Well, what go on there? How you cut it low along the white? If you cut it higher, obviously it's more red.
Red.
Alright, well, let's
All
cut
right.
it and see. Let's cut it
and
and
throw
see. Cut it and let me see.
Right, yes, correct. And that's
Yeah,
white.
yes, it has a reddish tinge.
When you go down to the lower part to eat, it gets white now.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's cut and throw away.
Cut
Baba
and throw
ole.
away. Right.
It just has my mouth full of saliva thinking about that in the pot.
You gotta tell me that cook some for you, man, before you come down.
Pat,
Right.
it's cooked.
And it's good for animals too. We use it
Yes,
for
I'm looking
our
at,
pigs
and
and our
the
animals.
gentleman is going down here with his poya, cleaning away at the tuber.
To
But
get to the
but
bottom.
I'm looking at the richness of the soil. And one of the things that Mrs. Mohammed has told me, she has never sprayed weedicides on the soil.
Oh, wow, look another
Wow,
one.
food for a week.
Don't mind I laugh, but I like how you're speaking.
Thanks.
You see good food, you talk about it, man.
Now, yam is also listed as one of the foods with a low glycemic index. So it's safe for people who are diabetic, hypertensive, right? Because it gives a slow release.
And good roughage in your diet.
High fiber, thank you, Ms. Mohammed. High fiber, high in mineral content.
Pat digging there using a luchet.
Local digging tool.
And from the way he's digging, he looks like he has a lot of experience dealing with this.
He's trying not to cut
Now, one of the things
or damage the tubers.
One of the things I would like to mention too, that yam is also a source of food for the wild animals. Deer, agouti, lap, tatu, all of them use the yam as a source of food. Many times in the bush, deep jungle, you will see the top of the head of the yam eaten away. So a lot of wild animals use the yam as a source of food.
And we are in a very indigenous settings with all our balize, our carrots that surround
it's
us.
so wonderful, I must
So
say,
that we
it's so wonderful.
maintain the native vegetation, because this is a sloping hillside area.
So is your plantation open to visitors?
Soon.
Soon. So I want to urge all the viewers who are looking, right, for a very small nominal fee that pays the maintenance of the plantation, is that she's opening up her plantation. It's 30 acres of untouched, undisturbed,
44 acres.
44 acres, thank you. 44 acres of undisturbed vegetation. In fact, if you come and you take a drive and a walk, it stuns you. It stuns you.
It is a combination of
It's an artist delight. This morning when I came and I saw the immortals in bloom and the petrias in bloom and the orchids in bloom and the balige in bloom, it's an artist delight.
Let's take a look at inside the hole, how deep this is.
Yes, so it's going down. So those tubers have gone quite a bit. I suspect that this has not been dug for at least 2 to 3 years. Am I correct, Mr. Pat?
Yes, sir. Can be a little more. You saw the head big?
Yes, the head, I
Okay,
noticed
yeah.
how the head, is a wide head.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 3-year to 4-year-old yam here.
These are the pieces that have already been dug out.
So when Elizabeth is not looking, we shall be kidnapping these yam and putting them in the van.
No problem, man. Let's bring the van closer. I'll walk by there.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
When you go today, you'll be there tomorrow. You know, you won't be there.
You're just kidding.
Yeah, man.
May I point out that the carrot is also a protected species of flora. Long ago we used to just go into the jungle and just cut carrot for our sheds, but now it's protected by law.
But a long time ago, just protected, you know.
Right.
So
And
he
here
has
we
found
have
the end of
bring it up
another
closely,
tuber.
right?
Wow, a month's supply of yam.
Yeah, you're nothing yet, man. Just now reach what you want.
Pat, was I able to tell you where to find it?
How did we locate the yam?
Alright.
Look at the yam just like what Mr. say you come here. Alright, look at what's that stool right there. See a stool right there?
Man, we didn't have the eye for it. You have to have an eye for it.
Well, yeah, you have to have that. Yeah, and look at that stool right here. Yeah.
Right there.
Wow, we would have bypassed that.
Yeah.
Here, this whole siding.
Now this
here
is why,
is filled with yam.
Miss Mohammed, we have labeled this indigenous archaeology. You understand? If you do not have an eye for this, it is not very easy to find.
And let's tell us how you
Pat,
know
you
when
have
the yams are ready to dig.
Well, usually there's a season. The yam dries. It's usually what we normally call entering the dry season in Trinidad and Tobago. It's usually good to dig for about 3 months. Not so, Pat?
Yes.
It's usually good for
Yes.
about 3 months.
Yeah.
And from the time you see the yam starts to regrow and the vines get back green, you don't dig anymore. Okay, that time we say the yam pass in local vernacular.
One of the things I want to add is that the seafarers, the early seafarers in the 15th, 16th, 17th century used to carry yams aboard their ships.
Yeah.
Because scurvy, the disease scurvy, was a very, very terrible plague, right? Lack of vitamin C and minerals and all of that. Scurvy. Wow, that's a big head of yam.
Raise up that one, let them see, hold it.
Yeah.
Right.
And to preserve the yams, they used to melt wax, paraffin wax, and dip the entire yam into paraffin wax. Now, it is also suggested by locals that to keep the yam as long as possible, do not wash the yam. Because the encasing dirt, right, and the little compost and all that comes as a preservative.
Usually ground food, we do not wash ground food.
Yes, you do not wash it.
Just clean it out
And who taught you that?
So the older folks, you know, all what I
All
do
right,
here
here comes
is the older folks who teach me. All what I do here.
the roots.
All right,
Visible there.
we're now going to talk about sustainability. So the first thing we want to do
Well,
is
let's
to
just
re-establish,
figure out the last one.
cutting off the head of the yam, that is the part that will vegetate and grow back a vine,
Yeah.
back into the same area.
Yeah.
So Pat is going to show.
First thing
Pat,
we
you
need
want to
do is
take
pull
out
back
All right,
the
the
hole
so
a
Pat,
little bit.
so Pat is going to explain what is the first step.
The first step is to pull back the hole for the dirt, and then you cut off the head and you rest it back on top of the dirt.
All right, let's see that step.
Right, so he's putting back the more fertile part of the soil, the black composted soil, right? And then he's going. Long ago, a lot of people used to harvest the yam and not replenish the yam stock.
All right.
We want to encourage all
So
viewers.
here he's cutting out the head.
Right.
Right, and they have the
This
piece
is the
here.
head.
That's the head. Note how he's putting back the head there.
So we're talking about sustainability. And we have Ronnie there cutting away at the cane.
High up.
I like your chat, man.
Right, very nice. Sustainability. So we harvest what we want to make sure future generations will also enjoy. Very nice.
Now he's filling back.
And we await the rains, right? In 2 months' time, this will be a thriving yam. And these trees that you see around will be the support mechanism for these vines. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz.
Respect.
You're
right.
welcome.
Right. And Rudolph there. So,
No,
and the
we just
rains
put
are
it
about
in.
to come down. So, we will end our video here this morning.
I think there's nothing extra to carry, right? Take out what.
I think we have sufficed this.
Pat, as we up here, we could dig that next too.
No, as
No,
we
no.
up here, I want to point out this too. You see this vine here? What's the name of this vine? Let me see if you know. See this vine? This vine was the source of making the baskets.
Sijin. This is Sijin.
Yes, it's a Sijan vine, right? So what you're seeing here, this was actually, because it is so flexible, right? This was the source of making anything to carry, any receptacle to carry. So just where the yam is growing, you have these Sijan vines growing upwards, right? And they are so flexible, right? Could you cut this for me, Pat? Cut this here and cut this here. I want to show the viewers how flexible this vine is. Pessi. Some people used to say Pessi, some people used to say bull pistol.
Yeah, it was good for disciplinary too.
Right. So because of the flexibility of this vine, right? This is what they used to make curved baskets and cocoa baskets. You understand? And although this vine has been dried some time, it's still very viable. No. No. It doesn't break easily. No.
And Pessi, long ago, your grandparents would say, bring the Pessi and come. Meaning you had to bring the tool of discipline and stand for execution.
Children's authority and all of that.
Yes,
All
but
right.
that was the historical way.
Now you see the Sijan vine growing up here? All these are Sijan vines. You understand? That was part of the culture, the indigenous culture.
And they would
And the
use it
carrot
to
for
weave
the
and
arrow.
to tie.
Yeah.
Patch the arrow.
Yes.
So you have the carrot patch there.
Really great.
Okay, signing off here.
Hey, Pat,
With
leave
the-
that now.
No, I'll see.
You want a carrot?
Yeah, we want to